So, what would be the principles of regenerative farming?
So we described before, regenerative farming is really old techniques of farming combined with science. And I read this book by Gabe Brown, Dirt to Soil,
Okay.
and he is a rancher, so he raises cattle. But in amongst his cattle, he grows wheat and oats and all these other plants. So the 5 principles of regenerative farming is based all around soil, the dirt. Everything grows out of soil, so that's the most important part. So principle 1 is limit the disturbance. Don't till the soil. So when tilling, you have a disc that goes through the soil and then rips it up and lays it over. And that's the part that releases the carbon that the plants have worked so hard to put into the soil. The other principle is to armor the soil surface. So that is always having plants growing and protecting the soil, either by shading the soil so that weeds can't grow, or just having the roots from the plants always in the soil to keep them from eroding, either by wind or water.
It looks like the sun wouldn't necessarily be hitting a lot of the dirt
and drying it out.
So yeah, you're going to be able to retain water in the soil a lot longer.
Yeah. So then water and life go together.
Yeah.
The life that we see in the soil is 1/1 billionth of the actual life that is in the soil. There's more microbes and bacteria and fungus that grow in the soil that benefit the plants that we can see. You need a microscope. And that's the thing that's been ignored for so long, is we didn't actually look at what was actually living in the soil. That is, what are the plants using of that other life? And there's a whole stream of transmission of energy and nutrition for the plants from this other life that we can't see.
I guess is that kind of summarizing like biodiversity? That's kind of like a short answer to it, or
that's the support factor for biodiversity. Okay. So the other one is build diversity. Grow as many different types of plants together as possible. And it's really hard on a big farm, but people are figuring it out, and we can get into that later. But the other principle is keep living roots in the soil, and we kind of alluded to that. Never kill the plants. And they've come up with farming methods that keep plants in the soil and being able to plant your next harvest in amongst the plants that are already there. And I have a great example here in my little garden where I always have plants growing. I never turn over the soil except to plant a new plant. And they figured out how to do this on a larger scale too. And then the last principle is integrating animals. On a bigger scale, Gabe was a rancher I told you about, and he integrated cattle into his other cash crops. And they did the mowing for him, and they also gave him fertilizer.